Day 6, Wicklow. To everyone's relief, the next morning they woke up to a sound of chanting. What is that? Asked Jane. That sounds like monks at their morning devotions, answered the wolfhound. Looks like we are forward in time. I'm thinking around the 8th century. The four of you would be very hard to explain, so let's steer clear. Clear of what? Asked Robert. Glendalough, replied the wolfhound. In the 6th century, Saint Kevin found this idyllic spot, a peaceful valley with two pristine lakes. He came for the retreat away from everyone else. But soon others followed, and Glendalough became a monastic city. People from all over Europe came to the education. It is like a college. Although the wolfhound added, in your time, it is an ancient site. They made their way around the stone buildings and through a forest. Soon they came upon one of the lakes the wolfhound had mentioned. Wow, sighed Susan. Such beauty and peace. It makes sense why St. Kevin chose this area, agreed Robert. As they moved on, the wolfhound continued. We are in the beautiful Wicklow Mountains. People still visit here to get away. Well, they will in our future. Maybe our hexagon rocks are here, said James. Maybe our red deer is here, Jane and Susan chorused. I just realized, Jane added, even though the skies are cloudy, there is no rain. How wonderful. They trekked up the hills looking for rocks and animals. Look at this, said Robert. It's not a hexagon shape, but it is sure different. It kind of looks like a rock waterfall or a stream, observed Jane. Yes, that is granite, said the wolfhound, and right over there is schist. Millions of years ago, mud and sandstone became extremely hot. They baked into new rocks like slate, quartz, and schist. As you can see, it is shiny. Underneath, the magma was cooling much slower and formed granite. So this is not what we are looking for then? Sulked James. No, but slowly look over there. Children turned, they saw what looked like a deer. Jane gasped. Is that a red-tailed deer? Yes, it is. We are supposed to befriend one, said James. Are they usually that small? She's not that small, replied Jane. None of the children moved. The wolfhound nudged Robert. Go talk to her. Why me? Asked Robert. You are learning to respect our ways. Before Robert started to make his way over, Susan pulled some yummy-looking plants, she hoped, and gave them to Robert to offer the deer. Robert began a slow walk towards her. The doe's ears perked up as she calmly watched him move closer. The other children stayed very still and watched. Soon Robert was walking back with the deer. The deer eyed the wolfhound with suspicion. They were almost the same height. The girls kept reassuring her and giving her food. Robert and James stroked her back. She has lost her herd, said Robert. Maybe we can help her to find it again, said Jane. I thought a deer would be bigger, mumbled James. The deer looked right at James and blinked soulful eyes. You are the perfect size and beautiful, rushed James. Nothing living today will be the size of the Irish elk, said the wolfhound, shaking his head. Male red deer are still big. They can reach 5 feet high at their shoulder and weigh up to 550 pounds. After a few more minutes of consoling the deer, the wolfhound once again spoke. Let's look for her herd. It took them all morning and part of the afternoon to find her herd. The wolfhound kept sniffing the ground and taking them in all sorts of directions. The boys thought they would do a better job. Each time they started to mention it, they felt the wolfhound's breath on them and decided to keep quiet. It was easy to forget just how big he was until he breathed or panted on your neck. Finally, they caught up with the herd in the afternoon, just as they were about to give up. The red deer said, "Thank you, friends," before she bounded off to join them. The children were tired and very hungry. The sun decided to come out while they made an early camp. After eating, they looked through what they had collected. Susan had found another oak tree and picked up an acorn. James had collected flowers and leaves from bushes. Spreading the plants out, they asked the wolfhound if any were from the blackthorn bush. "There is a blackthorn flower," exclaimed the wolfhound, poking his nose at it. "Anyone remember where we found it?" All the children were suddenly busy with their tasks. No one wanted to repeat the meandering of the day. "Well, now at least we know what we are looking for. We will recognize it when we come across it again," said Jane. "And get the wood the druid needs," stated James. "We have all 4 acorns," stated Susan triumphantly, bringing 4 acorns from her pack. "We befriended a red deer today," said Robert. "We know what the blackthorn looks like now, so we should be able to find one soon," said James. "We know what rock the basalt hexagons are." "Not," laughed Jane. "We still have to find those birds," said Susan. "What birds?" asked the wolfhound. "The ragged robins," answered Susan. "Yes," snickered Robert, "the birds that need their feathers combed." The wolfhound rolled on his back on the grass, sneezing. Or was he laughing? He stood up and shook. Yes, he had definitely been laughing. "What's so funny?" asked James. "Ragged robins are flowers, not birds," he replied right before he rolled on his back again with his feet up in the air. "It's not that funny," Susan grumped. Since it was still early, the kids played games and it was time for dinner and sleep.